joint, and then you drop the first album and it does well. But then, you know, a pandemic hits structure where people are trying to figure out what to do. You just ascended further.
Yeah, like I was saying, it was just me following my heart and taking that risk because I wasn't afraid to I wasn't afraid to fail, you know.
Yeah.
And I just trusted my talent more than anything. Like I just felt as if I was confident enough in what I'm capable of.
So with Hall of Fame, I heard you say one of the quotes. You said you feel like you've been waiting your whole life for this moment, referring to Hall of Fame. Like what made this different? Because sometimes artists say that like on their first album, this is your third. So what made that? What made you make that statement in terms of relating to Hall of Fame?
It was just more so me understanding how far I done came.
Mm.
So early on in my career, I just was under the impression that I'd be a star off the bat. But it didn't work like that. I had to keep grinding and keep on going until the timing was actually right. So now I feel like I'm reaching that point where enough people acknowledging who I am, and this the moment that I've been waiting for.
Normally, I'm getting projections. You getting that #1 album too. Like, how important is that to get #1 album?
I feel like it's definitely something that's important. Just as far as like writing your legacy,
Yeah.
and me being 22 years old, my third album, and being able to do that, that speak volume.
How competitive? I know you run your own race, and you set high goals for yourself, but you know, obviously, you dropped the same day Migos dropped their big comeback. You know, their album's good. You're on that album actually on Malibu. Like, what's it like with that? Where it's like, you know, you're almost competing against yourself. You're on Migos album, but you have your project, which I'm sure you want to be #1. Like, how competitive are you when it comes to stuff like that?
I'm only competitive talent wise. I'm never competitive when it comes to numbers because that's all like a more so a perception type thing. I'm only ever competitive as far as how hard I'm gonna go or how good that I am at doing what I do. But I'll never get competitive number wise. If it panned out that I get a #1, so be it. But if it didn't, then I wouldn't be losing sleep about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Talk about Hall of Fame's vision, where you know you didn't really have a lot of guest appearances on your records, and you decided this time. I didn't even realize it. It's like 10 solo and 10 features. That's a lot of features. Like, why was that the right decision?
I feel like it was just me trying to tap into everybody else's fan base because I done created a solid foundation with the fan base that I have right now with my first two projects and not tapping in. So I just wanted to see what type of difference that would make as far as me elevating.
What was that like connecting with these artists? Like, I heard you know when you got back that Little Wayne verse, you was like, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying? The MC
Hmm.
competitiveness came in. Like, talk about
Yeah,
that, like getting a Wayne verse back and seeing how he went so crazy on that thing.
yeah. It was just like me growing up, really just respecting him and seeing him do that all throughout his career,
Yeah,
and just to witness it firsthand is just a crazy thing to me. You know, but I know that's the same type of approach that I take to music all the time, though. And most of that reason is because I grew up listening to him. So I couldn't do nothing but respect that.
absolutely, absolutely. And then you connect. I know some of the stuff was sent to you versus back and forth, but I know you and Roddy actually, Roddy Rich, y'all, you know, you both young giants in the game. Y'all actually linked up together, like, and you know, you guys, you know, keep it kind of low key, sometimes antisocial. What was it like for like two antisocial dudes to really get to know each other and connect on that joint?
Um, it's a quiet studio session. For real. We made our music and went about our way for real. Roddy don't talk a lot. I don't really either.
How exciting is it to get Nicki Minaj, man? When you get Nicki Minaj featured, I know you got the barbs all in your mentions and stuff. Like, it goes crazy. Like, what was it like getting Nicki involved with the project?
Um, it was a big deal for me, definitely because as far as um, just female rappers in the game, in my personal opinion, it don't get no bigger than Nicki Minaj as far
Yes,
as the
sir.
legacy that she cemented.
Yes, sir.
So, so just to get her on the record just was crazy to me. I didn't even believe that I'd be able to do it.
It was dope too. You think you're gonna put a visual out on that? You think that might be get a single look?
For sure, I'm down to do it for sure. Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Like, when I listen back to the album, and I think I heard you mention it to some of your fans, but obviously there's big features. So if you're looking at the track list, you see all these big features. But to me, the heart of the album is the intro and the outro, right? Painting Pictures and Bloody Canvas, and then
Hmm.
Toxic and Blackhearted in there. Like to me, that those four songs are kind of like the heart of the album in a sense. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. Just because um, those tracks give you different feelings, but that's really generally what I am and who I am as an artist. Those four songs that you say, that's really who I am as an artist. Nothing out. A lot of other songs is me testing the waters, experimenting, but those four songs, that's the music that I generally make that my fan base know that I'm known for, like heartfelt music, just real music. So I could definitely agree with that.
What do you think that passion comes from? Is that part of your upbringing from Chicago? Like, what do you think that like that drive or that passion comes from?
Definitely the Chicago upbringing, all the things that I witnessed, all the things that I learned, all the things that I know, and me just implementing that into music.
Yeah, now, I'm in California. I heard you moved out here. Like, what's that transition been like for you? Like, to leave your hometown. Obviously there's good and bad with that, right? The hometown, and
Hmm.
we know how crazy what we hear goes down with Chicago. Like, do you miss hometown? And then what's this transition been like for you to be out here in California more full time?
Do I miss Chicago? Yeah, I definitely have my times where I miss it. Definitely enjoy being in California just because of the change of scenery. It's a lot more peaceful, less busy, and I can stay to myself. And that's the type of person that I am.
Dope, dope. But you always show love Chicago, even on a sports tip, man. I saw you in you mentioned him on the joint 33 on the last album, but you and Scottie Pippen actually connected, and you got to get your Elliott Wilson on. You was interviewing Scottie Pippen, man. Tell me what that was like, man.
um, that was dope. That was crazy to me though. Like just knowing how he a legend in the city with everything that he done for the city. Just knowing that I came far enough to be able to interview a guy like him is just crazy.
And I see you obviously the artwork you paid homage to Michael Jordan. Like, do you plan on trying to meet Mike one day? And then what do you think that's gonna be like? Do you have any kind of specific things you want to chop it up with him about when you get to meet Jordan?
No, not necessarily. I don't, I don't really know what it because I don't play ball like that for real. I mean, I do, but I'm saying like I don't know. I don't feel like it'd be a dope thing to meet Mike, but I don't know what it necessarily I'll be able to say to him.
Going back to the music real quick, I forgot that. So in terms of like, I wanted to really break down Painted Pictures and Bloody Canvas because you see a lot of tracks, 20 tracks, but I feel like you put a lot of care into the sequence. And with artists, it's very important what your intro is and what your outro is. So
Hmm.
talk to me first about Painting Pictures. Why do you think that was like the right intro for the album?
Because painting pictures, like I said, that's like vintage Polo G. Like that's the type of music that I started out with. So I wanted to lead with that just to let my fans know before we go left that I'm still me. I'm still here. And then just going with the outro, I had never done a story song before, but I
Yeah.
always tell stories within my music. So I just wanted to get them something that I had never done before, and something that's not really commonly done in this day and age of music.
Crazy, crazy. Yeah, the whole thing with that is you do it like in third person, right? The Bloody Canvas, you talk about yourself in third person.
In a way, yeah.
It's crazy. So we'll talk about family a little bit, man. Your mom is actually your manager, man. Talk about that. Like why was that the right decision? And like, how do you balance that business and the personal side with you and your moms?
Um, you say, how do I balance it?
Yeah, because you got to do business all the time, but this is important to kind of draw a certain time where it's not all about business. It's just moms and you just kicking it like casual, or it's like is it easy to kind of navigate between both?
It's definitely easy to navigate. Me and my mother got a good relationship on the personal tip. So when it comes down to business, I know it bodes well. It goes the same way. I know she wouldn't tell me anything wrong, so we never really bump heads. It's always just really smooth sailing.
Yeah, and then you shout out your pops too, man. On Black Hearted, you said you know he saw the inspiration. I know you have a new son yourself. Like, talk about having